And a very good Monday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again, the the Pain podcast. It is Monday. It is June the 16th. And of course, it is 2025 as my wife is, as you see her in there, trying to get rid of whatever it is. It says start recording and run test recording. That's what it says. And we're trying to get rid of it. And is it leaving? Well, why would it? I mean, come on. If you think it's easy doing this, because it never is just boom, let's go. Never. I mean, it's unbelievable. There's always some. There's always a glitch. There's always a this. There's always a that. You can't make it up. So why this thing is sitting there, I have no idea. But it is. But it is. And it's probably good because you can't really see my face too well, which is a good thing, as my wife now puts the glasses on to see if she can eliminate this thing. That's Terry's hand, if you're wondering what that is. As you watch this, disaster, it's such a disaster. What a pain! Let me tell you, right?
It won't go off.
It's not leaving. Who cares? Believe me, God knows this isn't Joe Rogan's podcast, as we know. Believe me. He's making a lot more money than I'm making, and he doesn't have the aggravation that I have. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, come on. Let me hide his. You can't see my face if I go here. See that? Isn't that nice? All right. Well, leave it alone. What are you going to do? It is what it is.
Yes.
If you can't see me, it's too bad. What are you going to do? I'll move over here. So maybe, is that better? Sure. Wonderful. All right. So there's always a pain in the ass doing this. So as we do this, it is Monday, June 16, 2025. The weather in the New York metropolitan area continues to be absolute garbage, as it is now the middle of June, and it is another one of these crummy, overcast, gloomy, 65-degree days. I'm sure it'll rain somewhere. What a disgrace. I finally looks like by Friday, I saw actually a nice day, like total sun, 80 something degrees by Friday. And even Saturday in the high 80s. And then, dare I say, 90 by Sunday. So, hang in there, everybody. I understand. Now, tomorrow's going to rain again, 69 degrees and rain.
Why not?
Well, of course. I mean, it's Tuesday, so of course it's going to rain. And then Wednesday, I saw it actually gets to about 84 degrees. But hold on. Thunderstorms. Of course. Why not? Of course. And then I forget what Thursday was. I think Thursday was crummy too. Well, why not? It is unbelievable. I've said this so many times. The weather here now is the best weather is July through October. Like October is a far better weather month than June. I mean, it rained basically every day in May. It's rained basically every day in June. and we can only pray that by the time we get to July, we're going to have nice weather. Like I said, this weekend looks like it's going to be okay. So, and we've had just one crummy weekend after another. I hope you enjoyed your Father's Day. I did. We actually played 9 holes. I played well, too, yesterday. So did Terry. And it was great. Played up at Blue Hill. So we enjoyed that. Then came back. And, we'll get to the disastrous weekend for the Mets and the Yankees, too, for that matter. But watched the U.S. Open, J.J. Spawn, who looked like he was dead in the water. Nobody wanted to win this tournament. I mean, first of all, the conditions were horrible. Oakmont was a brutal golf course to begin with. Then you add in the rain, had a 2-hour, whatever it was, rain delay. And then you add in the rain on top of it that they were playing through at the end. And nobody wanted to win. Sam Burns, Adam Scott, Carlos Ortiz. I mean, we go right on down the line. Even Scheffler, who did not play well, was hanging in there because everybody was coming back to the pack, right? I mean, it was just, it was unbelievable. This guy, McIntyre, who was one over, he was sitting in the clubhouse looking like there was going to be a playoff, and then Spahn took care of it, right? He had that unbelievable drive to put it on the green on the drivable par 4 17th. He eventually birdied that, and then another big drive on 18 to set up the crazy birdie that he made to win the tournament on the 18th hole. So congratulations to J.J. Spawn, his first ever major win at the U.S. Open. So crazy, man. Lot of drama, and but between the weather and the golf course, man, the scores were just not very good. No question. You finished 6 over par. You're like in the top 10 in this tournament. It was crazy. But so far we've seen Rory win the Masters and, of course, the Grand Slam. We've seen Scotty win the PGA, and now we see J.J. Spaun win the U.S. Open. We're about a month away from the Open Championship, the British Open, at Royal Portrush in Ireland. So that'll be the final of the majors this year. This week is the Travelers up in Connecticut at River Highlands up there in Connecticut. Great golf course, great tournament. I think you're going to have a lot of big names playing in that. I think Scheffler won that last year as well. So you're going to have a lot of big names playing in that this week. But congratulations to J.J. Spaun. And I watched most of that yesterday, which means I was not watching. And what was there to watch? The 9-0 shellacking that the New York Mets took yesterday at the hands of the Tampa Bay Rays, and the sweep at Citi Field at the hands of Tampa Bay this weekend. I mean, they just came in and destroyed the Mets. And let's be honest. If you want, and I don't want to make too big a deal out of it, the Mets are still 18 games over 500, still leading the National League East. They got a tough week coming up, right? They're off today. They go to Atlanta for 3, Philadelphia for 3 after that. So they're going to play their division rivals this week and all of that. But really, the series turned Friday night with the Mets leading 5-1 after the 5th inning against Tampa. Clay Holmes pitching great. All he did was give up a solo home run. And after 79 pitches, they decided to pull him. And that really completely turned the series around. Let's be honest about it as I continue to cough up lungs here. That completely turned the series around. I can't talk anymore, really. The older I get, I have so many, like no major issues, but very annoying issues, you know, whether it's your stomach, whether it's your throat, whatever, whether it's, your hemorrhoids, whatever. Like there's a lot of annoying issues. Let me have some water. That's what happens when you're almost 70 freaking 2, but what are you going to do? It is what it is. I guess the alternative, well, nobody's come back to tell us the alternative might be a lot better. Let's hope it is. But anyway, be that as it may. So getting back to the Mets. So they're up 5-1 after the 5th inning Friday night. They decide to pull Clay Holmes. And don't tell me that was Mendoza's decision. That was Stearns' decision because they want to limit his pitches because they want to make sure this guy's going to be okay going forward because he's been a closer his whole life and has never thrown as many pitches as he's thrown to this point in the season. So they bring in this stiff Blackburn, and he proceeds to give it up. Blackburn and Kranick give it up. The Mets lose, what was it, 7-5, I think the final score was on Friday night. Then they get blasted on Saturday because Tyler McGill stinks. Let's be honest about this, okay? Tyler McGill was pitching way over his head early in the season. Now he's coming back to reality, and he's not any good. And we saw that again in the game Saturday against Tampa. And then yesterday, Carol Channing, Griffin Canning, whatever the hell you call him, Carol Channing, he's pitching like Carol Channing now. He had that good game against the Dodgers. Everyone, he pitched 6 shutout innings against the Dodgers. Oh, my God, he's Seaver. He stinks too. Let's be honest. He's coming back to reality as well. He really is. He had a 6 ERA or whatever it was last year in Anaheim. What'd you think this guy was all of a sudden going to turn into Greg Maddux? So, to me, that's the story. The pitching killed them. And I understand they left millions of people on over the weekend. I get it. Allonzo had a big strikeout with the bases lowered yesterday. And I heard somebody on TV, and I'm not going to mention names because I don't like to mention names, who's supposed to be a big Met fan, who, by the way, was all good with Allonzo being let go, by the way, by the Mets in the offseason. He was okay with that. That's a Met fan. And I'm not going to say who it is, but and don't you either. But, you know what I'm talking about. No, I'm just saying. No, I know you know. You know what I'm talking about. But, you do. I know. My wife. But, anyway. So this guy's, by the way, that little thing finally went away. Now you can see me completely. So, I don't know. I'm probably going to bounce back, but you never know. But anyway, so this guy's ripping Allonzo. What? Come on. Allonzo's been carrying his team. So he had a rough weekend. All right? And you want to tell me he was affected by that throw where Senga got hurt? I mean, I don't know. He's a sensitive guy. I doubt it. But hard to kill Allonzo. All right? We're still waiting for Soto to do what he's supposed to be doing, which he still really hasn't done. So I know the Mets left a million guys on and all of that, but the pitching killed them this weekend. From Blackburn to McGill to Canning, and they all stink. And that makes it even more critical that Mania come back, and he pitched yesterday in Brooklyn and gave up a ton of runs in like 3 innings. He didn't pitch good, And I know Montas has not really pitched good in rehab either. So I guess there's concern about that going forward, which there should be. And you got to be a little worried about Senga. Right now, the only pitchers with Senga out, there's only 2 pitchers I got confidence in right now, starters, and that's Peterson and Holmes. And they pull Holmes early. Peterson coming off that complete game the other night against Washington. He's their best pitcher. It's not even close. David Peterson, he's better than Senga. Senga pitches 5-6 innings and he comes out of the game. We're seeing Peterson now go deep into games. How many times have we seen him go 7 into the 8th inning? He pitches the complete game. To me, he's the ace of the staff right now. But and I know that there was like all this insanity from Met fans too, okay, about this Rafael Devers trade. I'm getting all kinds of Joey T. Oh my God! Stearns dropped the ball. He didn't get Devers. I don't know what the deal was there. They traded him to the Giants for 2 pitchers. I don't know. Devers hit a home run yesterday against the Yankees, right? Still with the Red Sox, as the Red Sox swept the Yankees over the weekend as well. It wasn't a good weekend for them either. But, what are the Red Sox doing? Why do you Now, I understand there was issues with this guy because he came into the season and they told Devers, look, you're going to be a DH, right? Not going to play third anymore because they got Alex Bregman. So they told Devers, well, you're not going to play third anymore, and you just don't leave your glove at home. And then halfway through the season, after they tell him that, they say, hey, we want you to play first base. So Devers says, I don't want to play first base, right? So I'm a DH, and that's it. So the Red Sox trade him. Brilliant. The Red Sox. Can I explain? Really? The Red Sox got rid of Mookie Betts, and they got rid of Rafael Devers. Can you explain that to me? Somebody's got it. What's going on there in Boston? What are they doing there? Why would you trade your 2 best players over the last, 10 years? Why? That makes no sense to me. And they traded him to the Giants. And, I got Met fans texting me, oh, they didn't get Devers. Joey T is, apoplectic about it. You got a war going on in the Middle East, and you got all this nonsense going on in our country we won't get into. And Joey's worried about not getting Devers. But, what's new? But anyway, he's probably on a chat room. No, he's working. I think he actually is working. That's Joey. Yeah. And Joey's sitting there as a car salesman looking at, just looking at his phone to see what's the latest sports news. But whatever. What can I tell you? Good luck, Joe. Anyway, we'll leave that alone. And how about my buddy? I got to bring this up too. My buddy Kenny, right? Oh God. Kenny, Kenny, the great Kenny Scarabaggio, right? Yeah. Superstar in the making. So Kenny goes to his daughter was in Europe for a couple of weeks. So they go, or a couple of months, I actually think. Yeah. So Kenny goes with his wife to Europe for like 2 weeks, right? Okay. Goes to Europe for 2 weeks, comes back from Europe, right? Jet lag, all of that. Okay. The whole deal. Comes back, right? 3 days later, he's going off to Green Bay for the NFL draft, right? Comes back from that. And then like 3 days later, he's flying to Aruba for his daughter's birthday, right? For a week. Comes back, right? Been back not a long period of time. I hope you don't mind me saying this, Kenny, but I have to. Come back for not a long period of time, right? We played golf with him on Thursday. Joey finally paid off the bet from the Masters, okay, that he owed Terry and I a round of golf. So he paid that off on Thursday. We played Hyatt Hills, and Kenny played with us, right? So all of a sudden, the next day, I get a text from Joey the next day. Did you hear Kenny broke his leg? I'm like, what? What do you mean he broke his leg? Now, Kenny's had issues. He had a detached retina. He's had some knee issues, a couple other things, Kenny's not exactly 32 anymore. But anyway, so he broke his leg. He was out doing something by his pool, and he tripped over something, and he breaks his femur. What? Can't make it. Kenny, you need to sit down for a while, all right?
I think he is.
Right. Kenny, no traveling, Kenny. Kenny had, I guess he was planning on going to Dubai in July. He was gonna meet up with the sheiks in July in Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Then I think he was going to go to Saudi Arabia to meet with Ben Salman, meet with the prince, and see what they could do about what's going on in Israel and Iran. I think Kenny was going to see if he could get involved in those talks. Maybe him and Steve Witkoff. I don't know. But anyway, so that's what's going on with Joey and Kenny. All right? And Rafael Devers traded to the Giants. I mean, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. The Mets didn't get him. But you know what? The Mets need pitching. And I understand that they're leaving small villages on base all the time. I get it, right? But the Mets need freaking pitching. I mean, come on. Are you really confident? We just went through this. Are you confident in Tyler McGill? Are you confident in Carol Channing? Come on. Are you confident in Paul Blackburn? I think Blackburn's actually starting one of the games in Atlanta, I think, Wednesday. Really? Oh, my God. I guess Peterson's pitching tomorrow. I mean, you got to be kidding. But I don't want to go crazy. I mean, look, Tampa beat us up. Tampa's a good team. They've been hot. And the pitching stunk. And we didn't hit enough. And we're still 18 games over 500 and leading the division. You know, Joey's ready to throw the towel in. He is over. You know, fire Mendoza, fire Stearns. You know, let's bring the Wilpons back. You know. Oh, God. Yeah, right. Oh, God is right. So I'm not getting crazy. I'm mellow. But it all started when they pulled Holmes the other night. And to me, you can't be babying this guy. Guy's got to pitch. He's one of our best starting pitchers now. He needs to be out there. And who knows about Minaya? And who knows about Montas? So if I'm the Mets, you know, you could say they need a bat. Okay, fine. They need pitching. They need another starting pitcher. That's what they need. I'm more concerned about the rotation now than I am about the everyday lineup. And to be killing Allonzo for having a rough weekend, give me a break. And remember, this guy was good with Allonzo leaving town. So we'll leave it at that as we go forward. All right. Benigno, the Oda Pain podcast. A lot of pain. Yankees had a bad weekend, too. They got swept by the Red Sox. Aaron Judge hit a monster home run. I guess it was Saturday. Outside of that, a lot of double play grounders and a lot of strikeouts. And the Yankees scored 4 runs in 3 games at Fenway. What's that all about? So all of a sudden, the American League East is getting a lot tighter. Tampa Bay red hot. They sweep the Mets. The Red Sox sweep the Yankees. They've actually beaten them 5 out of 6 so far. Remember, they took 2 out of 3 last weekend at the stadium as well. So, and I don't want to, look, I mean, I still think the Yankees are going to win the division when all is said and done. But, so not a good weekend for the 2 teams in New York. That's for sure, the 2 New York baseball teams. All right, let's get some of these sponsors in here. The Hackensack Brewing Company. Again, next month, probably late in July, will be our next live podcast at the Brewing Company. We'll let you know exactly all the details of that. And as you know, if you need any work done on your car at all, you got to go to Anita Discount Tire, Rivervale, New Jersey, Westwood Avenue. See my son Johnny. See everybody over there. Johnny, Ari, everybody. They'll take care of you. Westwood Avenue, Rivervale, New Jersey. Go see everybody over there. If whatever work you need done on your car, they will get it done for you. Anita Discount Tire. And then, of course, Manscaped. And they'll be back with us, full-time sponsor in August. And again, if you want that illusion of extra inches, you know where to go. Manscaped, the 5.0 Ultra Lawnmower, gets it done every time. All right, Benigno, the Oda Pain podcast. The Knicks still don't have a coach. What a disgrace. Did you see this, by the way, in the paper the other day? Rick Pitino came out in favor of the Knicks hiring Mark Jackson. All right? Now, you're hearing names like Mike Brown, this guy Jenkins. I guess he used to coach Memphis. I don't want these guys. Do you want these guys? See, the Knicks really screwed themselves because they should have never fired Thibodeau, right? Never fired him. And I blame Dolan for that, right? These players that, were bad-mouthing him. Mikal Bridges, who did nothing for the Knicks this year. Karl Anthony Towns, who had problems with him in Minnesota when he was coaching their Tibbs, right? And they're bad-mouthing him. And then Dolan signs off on it, right? When they had no plan B. There was no plan B. Jason Kidd, we're going to get him out of his contract in Dallas. No, you're not. This guy, Udoka, we're going to get him out of his contract in Houston. No, you're not. Jay Wright, he wants to coach the Knicks. No, he doesn't. Right? No, they don't want to. None of these guys want. Right? Who? Danny Hurley. No, he'll leave UConn. No, he's not. I'm telling you right now. I got two names. Okay, and the two names to me are Mike Woodson and Mark Jackson. Now, I don't know what Woodson's thought process is. He got fired in Indiana. I don't know if he left, fired. I don't know if he had health reasons. I've heard different things. I thought they fired him because they didn't make the tournament last year. I mean, I don't know. But he was a damn good coach for us, Mike Woodson. Took us to the playoffs 3 years in a row after we hadn't been to the playoffs since Noah in New York. And then Phil Jackson came in and got rid of him. And what a disaster Phil Jackson was, but we all know that. But Rick Pitino came out in favor of Mark Jackson. Now, we all know Mark Jackson's been blackballed out of the NBA, okay? I don't know why. Nobody knows why. He got blackballed. He got fired in Golden State. They gave the coaching they gave the coaching position to that clown Steve Kerr. Well, I don't want to get into him, okay? But please, no, he's beyond. And he winds up winning 4 championships there. And, they made him out like he's Red Auerbach after Mark Jackson. It was his team, right? Unbelievable. I'm all for Mark Jackson. But I don't think he's ever coaching. I don't think he's ever doing anything in the NBA again. They got rid of him for Doris Burke, right? They got rid of Van Gundy, too, who was doing the games with Mike Breen. And by the way, tonight's Game 5 of the NBA Finals, which I could really care about. I hope Indiana wins, but I don't care. Game 5 tonight back in OKC. But next year, NBC is getting the NBA back. And those were the glory days of the NBA on NBC. Marv Albert doing the games. And it won't be Marv anymore. I don't know who's going to do them. Tirico maybe? I don't know. Who knows? Tirico does everything. He was even at the golf. By the way, NBC's golf coverage was not great. Nowhere near as good as CBS. And they're going to do the Open as well. So buckle up for that. But, who's going to be the Knicks coach? They're going to settle for some stiff, some guy that's not even close to Thibodeau. But the players will like him, so that's okay. And keep remembering this too, Knicks fans. Whoever this coach is that comes in, the pressure's on. This guy's got to win now. There's no grace period for this guy. He's got to come in and win. If he don't win a championship or get this team to the NBA Finals, he didn't get it done. One of the big, and I went through this, and I'm not going to go through it again, the litany of head coaches that the Knicks have had over the years, from Pitino to Riley to Van Gundy to Woodson to Thibodeau. And they wound up getting rid of every one of these guys, or they left on their own because of, squabbles with management, power plays they lost. And this is why the Knicks never win a championship, because there's dysfunction. All right? You had yourself a real head coach, the best head coach you had in 25 years, and you couldn't freaking wait to get rid of him. And how many Knicks fans wanted him out, too? All these brilliant Knicks fans, okay? Right? Who've never seen him win, right? They couldn't wait to get rid of Thibodeau. Oh, he plays his guys too long, too many minutes. That's not why they lost that series. They lost the series to Indiana because they blew game 1. Well, I mean, let's be honest. They blew a 14-point lead with 3 minutes to go. But here comes the sneezes from my wife. Get ready. She's good for 5 more. Bless you. The sneeze fest never ends. But anyway. And it's only like the morning generally she sneezes the most. Like she'll get up in the morning, cough 15 times in a row, and then sneeze 12 times in a row. So, but whatever. That's my wonderful wife. Thank God for her. But anyway, where were we? No, but this is why the Knicks never win. So who's going to be the next coach? Mike Brown? Is that who you want? I told you. Give me Mike Woodson. I'll take him back in a heartbeat. I really would take Mark Jackson in a second. I would take him in a second. And somebody's got to tell me, why has Mark Jackson been blackballed out of the NBA? Was it something to do with religion because he's too religious? Is that what it is? I mean, I don't know. Well, but I mean, would it surprise you? No. I mean, come on. It would surprise me, Don't bring up. You can't do that. By the way, speaking of basketball, I got to say this: how great was it that I could give a rat's ass about the WNBA. I mean, look, I like women's college basketball. WNBA is a whole different deal, and I don't want to get into the myriad of reasons why I have no interest whatsoever in it. But I will say this. The Caitlin Clark's team, the Indiana Fever, played the Liberty the other day in Indiana. And I think the Liberty were undefeated. I think they were 9-0, whatever the hell they were. And Indiana behind Caitlin Clark, I think she had 32 points. She almost had a triple-double. Whacked the Liberty. So good job by Caitlin Clark in Indiana. Okay? We'll leave it at that. But, we'll be that as it may. But as far as the Knicks go, right, this is why they never win. They're going to bring in some second-rate coach and watch him go backwards next year. They need players. This team needs more players. There was no reason to get rid of Thibodeau, no reason whatsoever. And you watch the Knicks go backwards next year with whoever this coach is going to be. And what are they going to do? They're going to bring a coach in, and if he doesn't get him to the NBA Finals next year, you're going to fire him after a year. Is that the game plan? Right? Because that guy's going to be in a hot seat immediately. Why the hell would I want that job? Seriously. If I'm any kind of a coach in the NBA, why would I want a job where I know that if I don't get to if I have no margin for error, if I don't get to the NBA Finals next year, they're getting rid of me. I know somebody will take it. It's the Knicks. Some NBA head coaching job, somebody will take it. But how they did not have as great a job as Leon Rose has done, and, Worldwide West and all of that, as great a job as those guys have done, bringing the Knicks back to relevancy, they made a big mistake firing Thibodeau. And I blame Dolan. To me, this smacks of Jim Dolan. It's always something at the Garden, right? Always something. Good luck to Mike Sullivan with the Rangers. And you keep an eye on what's going to happen to this team. Nobody, now that Kreider's gone now, nobody is safe on the Rangers. Absolutely nobody is safe. So, but we'll see. We'll see if the Knicks have a head coach by the time we get to, training camp, something like that. I don't know. I have no idea. What a disgrace. Terrible. Should have never fired Thibodeau. Never, never, never fired Thibodeau. No other way to say it. All right, before I go, quickly on the Jets. I hear all these good things about Aaron Glenn. Wake me up when they win, okay? And they're losing the opening game to Rodgers in Pittsburgh. They're going to get killed. That's the over-under, I think, on touchdown passes for Rodgers is like 6, So he'll kill us that day. I think I saw something where it's the first time that two teams are playing each other, right, on opening day, where the two quarterbacks of the teams are playing against the team they were on the year before. Because remember, Fields was on Pittsburgh last year, and Rodgers was on the Jets. And now they're playing against each other on the opposite team. So we'll see. I have no confidence at all in the Jets, as you know. Why should I? Why should I? And we can only hope that Aaron Glenn is the real deal. That's the only thing we can hope. We can only pray that this guy, as I've said many, many times, that he's as good a head coach as he was a player. That's the only thing we can say, that he's as good a head coach as he was a player. We'll find out. Got a long way to go to the start of the season. Long way to go. And it'll be here soon enough, and I'm not pushing it because I want the summer. I actually want to see, hopefully at some point in the wonderful New York metropolitan area, we will see the sun again. Again. And I don't want to hear, I want to say this too, I don't want to hear in the middle of, like the last week in July, when it's actually been hot for a few weeks and we haven't had rain for 2 weeks. I don't want to hear the absolute bullshit that we need rain. Okay?
There's a water shortage.
That we have right. That you can't use your sprinkler because there's a water shortage.
Right.
Bullshit. Okay? Yeah, okay. That's all I'm going to say to that. The weather's just, you just can't say enough how bad the goddamn weather is. Everybody, enjoy your week. Have a good week this week. The Yankees play Anaheim. They open a 3-game series tonight with the Angels at home. The Mets off tonight, and then off to Atlanta for 3, Philadelphia for 3 after that. The Yankees play the Orioles over the weekend as the baseball season is now marches on, as we're pretty much just in the baseball season now, certainly here in New York. Again, all the love, everybody. And of course, God bless America. We'll talk to you on Friday.